Hello lovely people. Hold on tight because this one carries heavy suspense. Instagram has suddenly become the stage for a bold move that no one saw coming. She has started blocking critics. Blocking is not just about pressing a button, it is a message. It means she is tired of constant noise, tired of unnecessary negativity, and ready to protect her peace. Fans didn't expect her to take such a strong step, but it shows that she has finally drawn a line. Boundaries have been set, and everyone can feel the change. Some people are clapping for her strength, saying it takes courage to choose calm over chaos, while others are shocked, wondering if things really got that serious behind the scenes. The silence that follows every block leaves people unsettled because it changes the flow of gist completely. Now all eyes are on her next move. Is she shutting everyone out for good, or is she just making space for positivity only? At the very beginning of all this noise, Maurice came forward to explain what he shared with Pearl. He described it simply as friendship, and not just any friendship, but one built on respect and long-standing connection. He was clear that there was no romance attached to it. That explanation was meant to calm the whispers flying around, but instead, it made fans even more curious. People wondered if it was truly possible for two people so close to have nothing deeper going on. They watched his words closely, matching them with his actions, trying to catch even the smallest sign of something else. The gist only grew hotter because the more he stressed that it was only friendship, the more people felt like something was hiding between the lines. It became a guessing game. His honesty seemed believable, but at the same time, it left plenty of room for doubt. And doubt is exactly what keeps gist alive. Later on, Maurice opened up again, and this time, his words made people lean closer because they hit home. He admitted that sometimes, friendships don't remain the same forever. They grow, they shift, and in some cases, they deepen into love. That statement felt real and relatable. Fans immediately connected with it because everyone has seen how closeness can quietly turn into something more. Suddenly, Pearl's affection for him no longer looked like a mystery. It became clear that her emotions were the natural result of years of connection. The gist then took a softer turn, with people viewing Pearl not as someone clinging on but as someone caught in a normal transition of feelings. This change in perspective gave the whole story more weight. Instead of just gossip, it started sounding like an everyday truth that anyone could face. Fans began reflecting on their own lives, asking themselves if hidden feelings could also exist within their friendships. Now, let's pause on Pearl for a moment because her own story is where the heart of this gist really lies. Her difficulty in letting go of Maurice has become a mirror of how tough love can be. Outsiders often think it is easy, just move on, they say, but Pearl is showing the reality. Deep emotions don't vanish just because the crowd shouts for change. Love doesn't answer to public opinion. What she is going through is the real challenge of love, when feelings hold on tighter than logic. Every action she takes shows that she is wrestling between her heart and what people expect from her. Fans are caught up in the tension because they can see themselves in her struggle. It's relatable, it's emotional, and it's raw. That is why people can't stop talking about her. Pearl is carrying the weight of emotions that won't let go, and in that struggle, the gist keeps finding its fire. The question that keeps dividing fans is one of the simplest yet heaviest ones: should Pearl continue holding on to Maurice, or should she finally let go? That single question is like a drumbeat that refuses to stop. Each side of the argument has its own fire. Some believe holding on shows strength and faith, because love is worth fighting for when it is real. Others argue that peace is more important, and that letting go is the only way to truly heal. The gist never rests because nobody knows what Pearl herself would decide. Every small move she makes feels like a hint, but the answer is still hidden. This suspense is what keeps fans restless. They are waiting for a resolution, but instead, they get silence and uncertainty. And maybe that is what makes the gist stronger, the fact that nothing has been concluded yet, leaving everyone guessing and arguing non-stop. Fans can never forget the time when Maurice and Sonia were the center of attention. Their chemistry on screen was so strong that people became obsessed, convinced there was something beyond acting. Every smile, every glance, every scene together seemed too natural to be fake. That closeness became gist that spread everywhere. People spoke about them as if they were already a couple in real life. The obsession was so deep that it shaped conversations about Nollywood YouTube itself. For many, their names were inseparable. It was like watching two worlds merge into one story that fans couldn't get enough of. That season of gist created so much excitement because everyone wanted to believe it was more than just performance. It became a fairy tale in the minds of many, a story fans wanted to see confirmed. But as sweet as it was, that same obsession set the stage for heartbreak later. Then came the moment that nobody was ready for. Maurice had Sonia. That shock twisted the gist into something completely different. Fans who had been so invested in their bond suddenly had to face the reality that things were not perfect. The disappointment was loud, and it echoed everywhere. People questioned if what they had seen on screen was only for the cameras all along. It became less about romance and more about betrayal, and that shift made the gist heavier than before. Instead of dreamy talk about chemistry, fans were now asking hard questions about what really happened behind the scenes. It was a turn nobody predicted, and it kept the gist alive in a different way. The hurt gave people another angle to focus on, one filled with surprise and tension. That single twist is still remembered because it showed that nothing was as clear as fans once believed. But then, just when people thought everything had settled, Maurice returned pleading again. That step pulled everyone back into the story with fresh energy. His plea raised questions all over. Was he truly sorry, or was it just another moment of words without change? Fans couldn't agree. Some said forgiveness was possible, while others warned that history might repeat itself. The pleading itself became the gist because it left the door open. Would Sonia or Pearl respond? Would this be the start of a new chapter or just another cycle of the old? The suspense is what made people restless again, waiting to see if the plea would turn into action. It gave the gist a revival, as if the story had been paused and then suddenly restarted. That return has kept tongues wagging because nobody knows if the plea will end in reconciliation or silence. Pearl's difficulty in letting go shows the depth of her emotions once again. It proves that love is not something you can turn off like a switch. Even when people tell her to move on, her feelings show that it's never that simple. The struggle between her heart and the voices around her is real, and fans can see it. This is what makes her situation powerful to watch. Outsiders may find it easy to judge, but inside the story, it is all about emotions that won't vanish. Her challenge reminds people of their own struggles with love, which is why the gist keeps traveling. It is not just Pearl's story anymore, it has become a shared experience for many who see themselves in her. That reflection is what keeps the discussions loud, showing that love, once deeply planted, is never easy to erase, no matter how many people advise otherwise. And in the end, the gist comes back to one question that still hangs in the air. Will Pearl finally choose peace and let go of Maurice, or will she continue holding on despite everything? This question keeps the gist alive more than anything else. The suspense is heavy because nobody knows which direction she will take. Every silence, every decision, every move feels like it might hold the answer, but still nothing is clear. That is why fans can't stop guessing. They argue, they predict, they wait, but the answer remains hidden. It is like watching a story without an ending, and that ending is what everyone wants to see. Until Pearl makes her choice, the gist will not end. It will continue moving from one conversation to another, keeping people glued. The suspense is alive, and it shows no sign of fading anytime soon.